Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the JESS MARSHALL Podcast. Wow. Mark that swipe. Bring it. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the JESS MARSHALL Solo Podcast, Curious Jess. Hope everybody is staying warm out there in Dallas-Fort Worth today, tomorrow, and the next day. We're going to have inclement weather. It's the end of Jan. It's the beginning of Feb. This is the way it goes in Dallas. And just remember what happened back in 2021, and let's avoid that for you this year. So best things you can do in your house right now to make sure you don't have burst pipes are identify the north end of your home. Most of our cold weather comes out of the northwest. If you have a sink or a shower or a commode that are butted up to that north wall, you need to keep very close eyes on those. You got to make sure that you've got all the doors in your house open, even closet doors. Open them just a bit. Here's why. Lots of closet doors, or if you have a closet under your stairway, we call that a Texas basement here in Dallas, because nobody has basements because our soil is crazy. If you close that door and you keep it closed all the time, it does not get climate control. So the little slip under the door gets some of your warmer air under it, but you got to open those closet doors up. That's going to help keep all your walls temperature regulated, keep them heated. And then wherever you have a sink, make sure you're opening your cabinet doors and make sure you got those on drip tonight when you go to sleep.
And can you define on drip? Because it's not just little drips, right? You want that thing going.
Yeah, so what I do when I'm helping our clients out, and even at my personal home, is I make sure that it is not just a drip, drip, drip. It is a constant drip. I don't want a stream, so it kind of depends on how good or bad your sink hardware is, but I'm reeling that thing all the way on and then bringing it all the way to where it's about off, but where the water is still running. Here's why. You want water flowing through your water intake pipes, your water main. So your water's coming from the curb if you live in a neighborhood. If you live on a well or on a cistern, it's a little bit differently, but you still want to be running your water, because standing water in a pond, let's say, or a mud puddle freezes really fast. But if you think about a river, a flowing river does freeze if it gets cold enough for long enough, but that flowing water doesn't allow the temperatures to work on just a standing body of water. So you want that water moving. You obviously can't keep your toilet running all the time, but if you have a shower that's up against an outside wall of any kind, you need to run the faucet on that too. Just run the drip into the tub and make sure that it's a constant drip or a very, very small stream. Keep an eye on it, and make sure if you do have a shower that it's up against an exterior wall, I would 100% recommend that you get a space heater in that bathroom. And where the space heater is just designed just to keep that bathroom as temperate as possible. Your bathrooms are going to have HVAC supply registers into them. So what I would do, if this is for a bathroom, close the door after you've started your space heater so that heat can build up, and then put a towel across the bottom of that bathroom door, especially if it's a bathroom that you can afford not to use for the next couple of days. In your kitchen, we're going to be using the kitchens. If you feel like your kitchen is not warm enough, and if you don't have space heaters, this isn't child friendly, so make sure you take precautions there. Turn on your oven. Open the door to your oven. Your oven is a huge, badass space heater. You can heat your kitchen with your oven. Open your kitchen cabinet doors under your sink and make sure you're dripping that at night as well. And then any other bathrooms you have, if you have a shop sink out in your garage, you need to be super cognizant of the fact that that could be a problem, because most garages in southern climates like Texas are not insulated the same way as the rest of the house is. I would also make sure that all of the doors, not just closet doors, all of your bedroom doors, if you have a larger house, you have a bedroom or an office you don't use very often, maybe you shut those doors. Maybe you even turn the HVAC registers off so that you're directing that forced air into other rooms you're using. I would get all your doors open. You need your house warming itself. It's going to get cold. It's not going to be like it was in 2021. There are going to be people who have burst pipes. We do not build structures, homes, offices down in southern climates like Texas, like they do in Minnesota or in Washington State where I grew up, or in Ohio or Michigan or New York. Up north, everyone's insulating at a different level. Down here, the codes don't require it. I think they should, because insulating against cold also helps you in the summer when you're insulating against heat. If you have issues of any kind, you can always DM me at Jess from the Northwest. And you can always email me live at autographconstruction.com as well. I would be happy to help you. This is obviously very topical. Make sure that your front and back and patio doors, there is always cold air that can get in underneath those. Just take a bath towel, beach towel, roll that up, shove it right against the inside of the door. That's going to keep cold out and it's going to keep warm in. I think more than anything, it's about being aware. Set a reminder on your phone. You get home, you get busy, trying to make dinner, you get the kids, homework, all that good stuff. Make sure you leave everything on drip overnight. I think you'll be okay. But if you're not, you can get with somebody who's licensed and local anytime. And if I can't help you, I know a bunch of people who can. Reach out, Autograph Construction. Our team is on your side.
And let's make it clear, do not warm your home with a gas oven.
Yeah,
right.
Listen, let's use some common sense. That's not as dangerous as people might have you think it is, but just use common sense, y'all. Use common sense. I also wouldn't leave your oven on overnight, probably, even if it's electric. Wouldn't leave anything gas on overnight. Gas can be very dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. If you can keep all of your plumbing ports at least warmed in the 40 to 50 degree range, you should be okay. It's not going to be that cold, even though all the weathermen are making their year right now telling us that we're in for it. So,
and that electric bill and the water bill from running your faucets is going to be nothing compared to if something goes awry.
Yeah, listen, you're going to have an insurance deductible that you're going to have to pay if you have frozen pipes. Hopefully, if you do, it's not the end of the world. I can help you with that. The other thing to remember, if you do experience a loss, and this is not your fault, especially if you took mitigating action, you ran your faucets and something still froze and burst. If you have a freeze claim, even if you don't work with my company as your restoration contractor, reach out to me. I am the foremost authority on how to process a claim from beginning to end without allowing your insurance company to delay, deny, and defend their position. This is a huge, huge problem right now. Probably going to start an entire new YouTube channel about this situation because insurance companies are not treating people fairly, and they have no problem keeping you out of your house for 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. Some people we are seeing 24 months. After the Feb 2021 freeze, they are now just getting back into their homes, and they have had to involve attorneys and the whole 9 yards. I've got a proprietary method that Autograph Construction uses that's going to get you through your claim. It's going to get your property fully restored to its pre-peril condition. That's the goal here. When we work on houses, we always leave them better than we found them. So whatever your house looked like before the storm, when we're done, it actually looks better than it did before you experienced the loss. But you've got to be your own best advocate. And if you think you're going to call your agent who's the salesman for your insurance carrier, and that your agent, the salesman, is going to take your side over the product he's selling, you wrong. You real wrong. You're going to have a wake-up call, and it's going to be a slap in the face and a very expensive and frustrating one. Got to be your own best advocate. And the best people who you can talk to about what to do depending on who your carrier are the guys who work with the carriers all day long, where the rubber meets the road. Agent, salesman, claims department, service department. Would you buy a Chevy and it broke down, you go back to your salesman and complain? No, you take it to the service department. Salesman, service department, their paths don't cross, man. So if you think you're going to get what you should get in a fair manner and a fast manner from your carrier on your claims side, that is happening less and less and less. It's a huge concern. It's a passion of mine because it's not cool to have to chase down something you've already paid for. And I see insurance carriers bullying single females, minorities, senior citizens, and super young homeowners all the time. That's how I make my living when I'm not doing this content stuff. Helping people get what they already paid for from their carrier who's not treating them fairly, and their carrier knows they're not treating them fairly and they're doing it anyway, and no one seems to care. Well, I care. Everyone at Autograph Construction cares. And we're only a phone call, DM, or text message away. You can text the office anytime as well, 214-210-0202. 214-210-0202. Let us know if we can help. Our team's on your side, and quality is our signature. Big weekend of NFL football. Sohail, were you in on those 2 conference championships yesterday afternoon, brother?
Of course. No, I have no idea. But I did see on Twitter that NFL is rigged is trending. I don't know what's going on there, but something with the Chiefs or the Bengals.
The NFL appears to have wanted Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl more than they wanted the Cincinnati Bengals and my guy Joe Burrow in the Super Bowl. Very disturbing just chain of events there at the end of the game. Some ridiculous calls that, listen, if the game comes down to a call by an official and that one call makes the difference between whether you win or whether you lose, my dad always raised us this way. Don't talk about the refs. If you weren't beating them bad enough to withstand one bad call, you weren't beating them bad enough. But this was numerous calls. It was very troubling. It definitely doesn't make the league look good. I can tell you that. It makes it does lend itself toward those people who might say that this was rigged or that the NFL sent out a bulletin saying who they wanted to play. In the first game, it was Philly just running the Niners off the field. Once the Niners lost their quarterback, he sustained an elbow injury on a fumble. He's back to throw the ball, and before his arm came forward, he got hit by the end, right ulnar nerve, some sort of ulnar nerve malady that made it so he couldn't really throw. So their passing game went out the window early in the game. They had second-string quarterback also get injured. They had to put Christian McCaffrey in as the emergency third stringer. So they were down to running the ball and relying on that defense, and that defense is great. But, man, Philly looks tough, and those Philly fans are tough to stomach, especially if you're a Cowboys fan. I'm not, but I know there are a lot of them here in Dallas, and it looks like Philly could be well on their way to another Super Bowl here in just a matter of a few to several years, which is not going to be something that Cowboys fans are going to be a big fan of. The cool thing about this game, if you don't already know, you will know, because these two guys are probably the loudest 2 players on their respective teams. Travis Kelce and his brother Jason Kelce play for each team. Travis plays for the Chiefs. Jason plays for the Eagles. Travis is a tight end, and Jason is an offensive lineman, and they will both talk. So he'll see if you can find Jason Kelce, Kelce, Super Bowl parade, and we'll give examples. These guys are like pro wrestlers. They're both very entertaining, and they're both outstanding players, quite possibly the best players at their position, respectively. I don't know if we've ever had 2 high-profile brothers play against each other in the Super Bowl, but that's going to be entertaining to watch. They're both very entertaining individuals.
What about the Mannings?
Yeah, they never played against each other in a Super Bowl, and they're also nowhere near as entertaining as the Kelce brothers. But they are on every damn commercial. If you watch any sort of mainstream content these days, you get the Mannings in their chip commercials. And maybe we can react to that if we can find the chip commercial that debuted yesterday. Here he is. He's all dressed up.
Well, I didn't see him for over a year. 2 years ago, when they made a decision, he came out of there a different man. He came out of there with a purpose and a drive to make this possible. And I saw a different Howie Roseman.
What?
I don't really know what he's dressed up as. They're the Philadelphia Eagles. He's dressed up like a Swami or like Aladdin. A bunch of them wore costumes during the Super Bowl parade. And he gets up there and he just lets it go, man.
Three dogs run faster. And that's this team. Bottom line is, we wanted it more. All the players.
A lot of
That's
fireball.
amazing.
A lot of fireball involved. And then if you can also, if you can YouTube search Travis Kelce, mayor. So at the beginning of this week, the mayor of Cincinnati called Arrowhead Stadium Burrowhead Stadium. And that fired the Chiefs up. And if you know anything about pro athletes, they're always looking for anything to use as motivation, because when you get tired or hurt or you're down, you got to dig deep. And a lot of times that emotion, that anger emotion, is an elixir, man. It's awesome getting that adrenaline up. So when the Cincinnati mayor called Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City Burrowhead Stadium, that fired some people up. And we might get a little here. This might just be where he says, he says, Burrowhead my ass.
What's Burrowhead mean?
So Joe Burrow is the Bengals quarterback.
Gotcha.
And so the Cincinnati mayor poked the bear, and Travis Kelce, maybe they'll play it after this on that. I don't know. No, it won't be on this one. It'll be on Travis Kelce Mayer. He goes WWE The Rock in that's it right there. That one where Jim Nance has the mic in his face.
Words for that Cincinnati mayor. Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni. Wise words for that.
So, yeah, man, the NFL do whatever it's got to do to be as entertaining as possible. And I don't know what the ratings were for both of those games yesterday, but that second game, the Chiefs-Bengals game, did come down to the end, and the Chiefs won with a last-second field goal. Some questionable calls in the last couple of drives, but the Chiefs got it done. And the Hunt family, who owns the Chiefs, have Dallas roots. They own the Dallas Texans back in the day, and so it's good to see the Lamar Hunt Trophy being presented to Clark Hunt, Lamar's son. Interesting Super Bowl matchup. Both of these teams are extremely physical. I think it's going to come down to injuries, though, and Philly has a much lighter injury concern going into the Super Bowl in 2 weeks than the Niners do. The Niners are beat up. Even Nick Bosa was looking a little worse for wear, had to come out for a couple of plays. I don't know if Brock Purdy's going to even be able to play in the Super Bowl. I don't know if Jimmy G is going to be healthy enough. But one thing to notice, both of these teams are extremely strong up front. Very, very strong lines, offensive and defensive lines. So everybody thinking that the NFL is cute and high scoring and exciting, it's coming down to the big boys up front who ate their ribeye that morning or the night before, because that's what it's going to come down to in the game. And then the playmakers are going to make the plays that get things done. And Travis Kelce, the tight end for the Chiefs, was huge last night. Big catches, even with a bad back. So it's going to be an exciting Super Bowl. I think I've probably seen 10 too many promos for Rihanna at halftime.
Oh, my God, dude.
I didn't even know Rihanna was still making music.
Well, that promo won't let you forget.
What's going on with her hair in that, too? Is that like a hat she's wearing in the promo?
I remember she looked tight, but I don't.
She looks pretty. She's wearing a huge poncho, though. Because isn't she, I think she's maybe subscribing to the Lizzo nutrition plan more recently and not the Adele nutrition plan.
You got to tread very lightly.
Look at there,
right
bro.
now.
Look at there, bro. Look at that. Look at that haircut.
She just had a baby.
Yeah, but before that, I mean,
No, I don't.
You don't what?
I don't know.
She
what
didn't
you're
look. She
talking
didn't
about
look
at
like
all,
old
dude.
Rihanna. She didn't look like. She didn't look like heyday Rihanna. That's all. That's all I'm saying. I mean, whatever.
You're crazy, dude.
That's not current. Is that current?
This is the thing. This is the
whole promo.
Yeah.
Well, now the NFL, for the next 2 weeks, it'll be a build-up to this very corporate game. I think that it's ridiculous that the Super Bowl gets played at a neutral site as well, because of all the games all year, you've got this electricity in the stadium from the home fans. You remember Silver Linings Playbook with Bradley Cooper?
Yep.
Yeah, and Jennifer Lawrence. He was there. Bradley Cooper was at the Eagles game. That That Rob McElhaney guy, the Rexford guy, he was there too, Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I mean, the Eagles fans are rabid. What's crazy about the Super Bowl is now they're going to take both of these teams, both of these fan bases, and they're going to shove them into a neutral site. And most of the people who are going to be at the game aren't even fans of the respective teams. It turns into this big corporate thing, and it's just weird.
It's interesting with the what were those brothers? Kelsey's?
Yeah, the Kelsey boys.
The wrestlingization of all the sports.
Oh, yeah.
It's wild because you didn't see antics like that in football really before, did you?
Not to this degree. I mean, now because of social media, some of these guys are really understanding that they've got to brand themselves, and they got to do so even more aggressively than a lot of other athletes in other sports, because you can't see the face of a football player until they're on the sidelines.
There you go.
NBA player, you can see them up close and personal all day, every day. They don't have a helmet with a face mask on. These NFL guys, they don't get the opportunity to brand as heavily as soccer players, as basketball players, or as baseball players, because along with hockey guys, they've got a helmet on. Now, hockey guys a lot of times don't have a visor, so they're easier to see. That face mask on a football helmet does make these guys unrecognizable. The other guy who's very WWE in that group of 4 teams yesterday is George Kittle out of Iowa, another tight end. He and Kelsey are up there in the top 5 tight ends in the league. And George Kittle, man, you could pull up George Kittle is fun. You could search that on YouTube, and you would probably get a highlight of announcers talking about how much fun George Kittle is. George Kittle, man, he keeps it loose on the sidelines. Very WWE type personality, old George. And
speaking of hockey, someone died. I saw on Twitter a major hockey. I don't know if you're familiar.
The game of hockey. The game of hockey teaches you a lot about, character and
Bobby Hill, not Hill, Bobby Hull.
Oh, Bobby Hull, Brett Hull's dad. Bobby Hull, legendary player. Not a big hockey guy myself. I love hockey in person, but I don't go out of my way to watch it. Brett Hull played for the Stars when the Stars went on their Stanley Cup run.
Oh, hell yeah.
Brett Hull scored the game-winning goal in the on the road against Buffalo to win the Stanley Cup for the Stars, and the Buffalo fans will all tell you he was in the crease. I'm actually working with Ed Belfour, who was Eddie the Eagle, who was the goaltender for that Dallas Stars Stanley Cup winning team, working to get him on the JMP here in the near future. So that's going to be a lot of fun, because those guys, bro, they party. Those hockey guys party with that Stanley Cup like you would not believe. They'll take that Stanley Cup and jump off of balconies with it into pools and dent that thing all up and stuff. And I mean, that Stanley Cup, it travels around with its own security team. But those guys are filling that thing up with booze, drinking out of it. It's crazy. They're doing things. What happens with the Stanley Cup stays with the Stanley Cup, I think, is probably the best policy for hockey players. When did Bobby Hull pass away?
I think today.
Al McGuire passed away. No, Billy Packer passed away too. Legendary college basketball voice. He was calling the Final Four with Grant Hill and Jim Nantz for a long time. Kind of a crotchety old curmudgeon, but a great basketball mind.
Who?
Billy Packer. Billy Packer passed away, I think, this last Tuesday. Life's short, that's for sure. It's beautiful. And one thing on my mind this whole last week was just the reality of the fact that we get one life, and it's your life. Like, what you want to do with your life is your business. I hope you're doing something productive with it that makes you happy. But your life and your path, those are your business. Those aren't his business or her business or their business over there. It's your business. And just like it's totally out of line for you to tell somebody else on their own path how to walk that path, it's totally irrelevant what anybody else thinks about your path too. And if you're living your life and you're walking your path just to please other people, I don't think you're going to find that you end up being that genuinely and authentically happy with the way things are turning out. So my challenge to you is, am I doing what sets me on fire? Am I doing something that I'm passionate about? And, you know, I think balance is a little bit overrated. Like, what's the point in, man, I really don't like doing this. I really do like doing this. So I'm going to take time away from what I really like doing. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to work on something that I really don't like doing. Now, if what you really don't like doing are things that could make you bigger, stronger, faster, funnier, richer, maybe you should try them. But if you're in business and you don't like doing admin, but you do like sales, then go sell, go build your brand, and find someone who can integrate for you and help get your back end and your deliverables squared away and help you with your admin, because there is a point to quality of life, right? We get one life. I hope you're doing something fulfilling and fun and something that lights your fire and something that you're passionate about, at least somewhere along the way. I'm not saying that our days are always awesome front to back, top to bottom. There are things we have to do to make payroll if you're a small business owner or an entrepreneur that you don't necessarily want to do. But I think I think we just have to stop sometimes and smell the roses, that life is short and it's beautiful and it's a gift, and we got to try to do more stuff that lights us on fire instead of less, is all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, so speaking of, I got some hashtag Monday motivation for us.
Let's do it.
You probably saw this.
Self-made, bro. Self-made.
If you're a guy in your 20s and you don't have a Lamborghini, you should actually sit down and have like a serious discussion with yourself as to why you don't have a Lambo.
Yep.
Because I realize now that it's so incredibly easy and there's so much money out there, and 200 grand relative to what is out there in circulation and what you can grab, especially now with AI tools that you can leverage like never before, 200 grand is chump change.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, facts, right?
Yeah, just spot on, man. He just drilled
There's
that.
so much money in circulation, Jess. You just got to reach out.
Oh, man, who is that? I got to follow that guy immediately. First of all, what's he selling?
Yeah, so he's, what do you think? Guess what he's selling.
I think that what he's selling is some sort of coaching program.
Yep.
And I think that coaching program is going to help you in several ways, Sohail. Number one, it's going to help you gain confidence, because without confidence, how could you even approach the girl of your dreams? Then I think that coaching program that he sells is probably worth every penny. There's probably more value in it than what he even charges. I think it's going to help you develop a skill, because if you could learn how to talk and sell, what's the skill?
Drop shipping, duh.
Drop shipping.
It's like it's 2019 all over again.
Yes. Let's create for you an Amazon storefront. And then it's so easy, guys. It's so easy. All you got to do is you got to buy stuff for less than you sell it for. Hold on. I know. But then you got to scale it, okay? And then once you scale it, then hold on. You think this is it? Hold on. You need me, all right? Listen. Then once it's scaled and you got all this money and you got to call your accountant like, I got millions, what do I do with it? That's when they tell you, oh, you need to go buy a Lambo. You need to wrap it with dropship.net, whatever the name of your dropship company is on there. And then once you can prove that and you can put that on social media, then you're going to be able to sell your dropship business to other people for so much money that then you can go and you can start flipping islands. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to buy an island, okay? You're going to buy it for less than you sell it for. What's going to end up happening is you're going to be compounding your income. Okay, hold on. One second. Hold on. Now, what I really need you to understand is that there is a required uniform. You have to wear this selection of clothing if you're going to work with me. If you're going to be one of my entrepreneurial coaching clients, I need you to do a few things. First of all, you have got to comb your hair down over your eyes, okay? I only want to be able to see one of your eyes. If I can see both of them, we're not on brand. Second of all, hoodies. all the time. If you go to a wedding, it's fine to wear a coat and tie, but I've got to see a hoodie under the coat, okay? And then over the jacket, all right? Preferably hair down, hoodie half up, okay? Like you can't even commit a crime with your hoodie. It's got to be half up, just halfway, all right? Let's brand all your clothing. Even though you don't have a storefront or anything set for that, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be using your drop ship as a hub for your brand, and now you're going to start selling branded clothing through your drop ship company. Now listen, you're going to bifurcate these two companies, okay? You're going to be selling the drop ship, which you've scaled that thing up, but you're going to keep the brand and the clothing. Keep that separate because that's what defines you. When people think about you, one of my clients, they're going to be thinking about the sweatshirt in their closet that the first time they ran it through the wash fell apart. So I hope we're on point here. The other thing you can do with your Lambo, you're going to own your Lambo, but here's what's crazy. A Lambo, even if you buy it brand new, is not somehow like every other vehicle in the stratosphere since the beginning of time. It does not depreciate when you drive it off the lot. No, rather it appreciates in value. So you're now in the car flipping business too. I feel like this is really going to take you guys to the next level. If you want to learn more, my next class is how to have no real skills in life and how to talk to women. You're going to have to prepay for that. I'm going to go ahead and need you to put that on like an auto pay every month, and I'm going to need to take 3 months in advance before I give you. I'm gonna break it down. It's a formula. It's my ADHD formula. Okay, are you ready for this? All right. Assertive, direct. What's H? What's a good H one?
Hard.
No, it's got too much of a, because it's not going to go with my last D. Assertive, direct. Oh, I got it. Assertive, direct, honest, dominant. Okay. The ADHD program available to you for the low cost of $150 a month. If you buy 3 months, I will give it to you for $448. I will save you $2. Pay me, send it to me through Venmo, send it friends and family only. I am not declaring this as taxable income, and I will turn you into an absolute slayer, bro. In the boardroom, in the bedroom, the world is absolutely at your fingertips and your oyster. Maybe not in that order, and possibly that's not the best analogy, but it doesn't matter because I'm effing made. So let's go.
Let's see. Line your head up real quick with this guy. Okay, hold on. There you go. Oh my gosh.
Can we get the eyes? I got a tip. Hold on. Can I get that tagline? Can we add that to my media kit? One cocky young entrepreneur is being mocked online after suggesting a Lambo should be an easy buy for any man in his 20s. Yeah, man, I don't know. There's a lot of people online, and it seems like the louder they tell you they know what they're talking about, the less they actually know what they're talking about. You know what I'm saying? You get that impression, Sohail? It's just like, I'm the smartest guy in the room. Give me a second, though. I need to tell you about how smart I am, and I myself haven't developed the skill of being able to listen. So my job wherever I go is just to talk the whole time. Maybe I say the same thing 30 times in a row. It doesn't matter. That's not your concern. I'm the guru.
Yeah, that's been around, but you see this kid, like how much the Tate effect has gotten hold of these gurus. Bro, you just say something like that and you're good.
Well, the Tate effect's interesting because now you got a bunch of guys like 20-year-old dudes on TikTok, and they are literally with a straight face telling you, they are giving you the roadmap to talking to girls. Look, I'm 24. I'm fucking jacked. I have nailed so many girls. Just listen to what I have to say. And I mean, Tate's ripping off other people who've been doing this shit for 20 years, like the Rational Male, you know? I mean, Rolo's has been talking about this content forever, but for some reason it's become very de jour now with Tate. Jordan Peterson also to a degree. Jordan Peterson going viral talking about toxic femininity. I don't want to turn Curious Jess into a Tate Jordan Peterson apologist.
Yeah.
Podcast every week, but it is interesting. Listen, if you are reaching out and you want to be coached by someone, I don't know. Here's an idea. See if they have a track record. It's just an idea. I don't know. I found this to be the better way.
Track record of crimes normally.
Yeah, so I want to see your rap sheet, and if I go to Wikipedia and I'm reading about you, first of all, there better be a section that says personal. And second of all, in that personal section, I better see some sort of, you have to have had some sort of scrape with the law. I think that's how we know that you have the credibility to give the type of, life-changing guidance to young men everywhere and for them to spend money on.
This is amazing. I'm sorry. I just pulled up. Hold on.
This better be fucking awesome after that build up.
I mean, it's what you told me. It's the Rolo on Dr. Phil.
Okay, let's if they won't censor us or demon, can you put the one with the kid? Are you on the kid? The kid is just who comes on before Rolo with Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil, by the way, who's based here in Dallas.
Just look at this. Look at the demise of guys, and then look at Rolo on the left.
What does he wear? What's that thing he wears all the time?
Like a bonnet, when a woman has cancer and has to shave her head.
But he's got hair coming out of the bottom of it. He literally is
he staples on that ponytail.
I don't know. It's like Hulk Hogan. Like, remember when Hulk Hogan was going through all that stuff in court? But he's like bald, and then I think he has hair extensions like clipped on.
It's like pin the tail on donkey.
Yeah, bro. He goes to court. Hulk Hogan would go to court. He was there, right? Hulk Hogan's the one who's responsible for, is it Deadspin? No, not Deadspin. He's responsible for one of those like tabloid online newspapers going out of business. Are you not familiar with that story?
No.
The Hulkster somebody filmed him in an intimate situation with Bubba the Love Sponge's wife.
It was Gawker.
And because of this, Gawker was driven out of business. What people didn't realize until later was that it was actually a tech magnate that funded all of this. Hulk won money, but this tech magnate, he's an interesting guy who he was kind of in the shadows funding all of this. He had a very ulterior motive. Gawker they were driven out of business. And it was interesting. There are always forces at play that we don't realize. But anyways, Hulk, man, he goes to court and he's wearing a do-rag in court. I don't understand how a covering on your head like that isn't like a hat. Because if you've gone to like traffic court, they say like what is or is not allowed in court. Like no shorts, no sleeveless shirts, no hats, no gum, no phone. And look, Hulk's in there. There he is. He's taking his oath and he's got his do-rag on. It's awesome. Do you think that Hulk bleaches his handlebar mustache and his hair himself?
No.
Were you a big wrestling fan growing up, Sohail? I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this question.
I was not. But one of my best friends loves it, so I know some of the lore.
I feel like you're missing out.
I know what a heel is.
I mean, I know you love theater, No. Yeah. So, Dr. Phil with Rolo, Tomasi, however you say it, he wrote this book called The Rational Male.
Rolo Tony.
Dr. Phil had a kid on. If you tap on that first one, it might. I mean, these guys, this young kid, he's 24, that kid right there. We could just watch like 2 minutes of him. He is a sexual energy coach. So I don't even know what the hell that means. Usually when I'm about to have sex, I got a pretty good amount of energy going. I don't really need to be coached through that. I feel like that's already in like my DNA biologically. I'm ready to go. I know what to do. That was never really anything that I had to go to YouTube to research, like, okay, how does this work? You know, I just sort of rolled with the punches. Maybe there's guys out there, though, that are just so dialed in on online relationships and porn that they just don't know how to do it, even though you get more direction through what you can find online now than you ever did in the past. So if you can't figure it out now, I don't know if hiring this guy as your coach is your answer, but let's see what this guy has to say.
I'm not a dogmatist by any means, but I do think that he's serving a valuable role. I think that he's making a positive difference, and he does say a lot of controversial things because he's an extreme person. Like, he is not your normal average guy.
I wrote down some of the things that he said. Some of them I absolutely cannot repeat. But he says, I think my sister is her husband's
I'm guessing they're talking about Tate. Yeah.
Yeah, they talk about Tate. Everyone
knows. Do you know Andrew Tate? So you know there's Tristan and Andrew, right? You know they have a sister who's like just a normal person who like they don't. Andrew's always like, yeah, she's a B word.
Is she enjoying life as their sister? I don't understand how you can get so crossways with your family that you go on popular media and talk badly about them. I don't understand how that happens, whether it's Britney Spears and her dad or the weird stuff with the royals, Meghan and Harry and Meghan's dad, or
those are, I think with Britney, like that's like decades of abuse.
We really think that's happening? Yeah, I don't know.
Of course. What?
I don't know. We really think that yeah. I don't know, man. I don't want to get off into the weeds, as my good friend Sarah Lamb would say.
Trying
about
to break
Britney
up
Spears.
the Dr. Phil watching with some reactions.
Yeah, you wouldn't believe how terrible this episode is. It's pretty awful. The demise of guys. I feel like this is just a topic, like a trending topic. You know what I mean? So he'll like. It's out there. Yeah, there's probably guys could be doing better. I've talked about it a lot. I'm starting to get really tired of it though, because it's everywhere. Like everyone's talking about it. You've got people going and taking, you know, clips from Tate or Peterson or Rollo or whoever, and their entire content is reacting to what those guys say and then saying, "Tell me what you think about it in the comments."
I mean, bro, I've been saying that for the past 6 months of making content, like, but it's too good. It's great just analyzing it from meta aspect, just being like their followers are the exact people, you know.
And if you look at some of our content, I talked about, you know, not running after a girl who doesn't want anything to do with you like a little puppy dog, and I think that reel has done better than a lot of other reels about way more interesting stuff recently. If you go to the reels portion on Instagram, I think I don't know how many views it has. It's in the thousands. And it's just me talking about, you know, if she's not interested, man, loop back in the future if you want after you've improved yourself. But it's not even that interesting what I have to say. I'm wearing one of my rad plaid flannel shirts on it. Go to reels, go down. Is that one? Eggs in one, upper right. Makes you look so weak if you put all your eggs in one basket, guys. Become a commodity, man. Make some decisions in your life. Wow. Grow up. Stand up, square your shoulders up, deal with your problems. If you don't know how to deal with a problem, reach out to people who do. Go find a mentor, go find a group, and start solving problems and feeling better about yourself, and quit focusing on finding the perfect girl and thinking that's going to solve your problem, because it's not. Yeah, I think it's a good point. I think that plays right into what you were saying. I think that Meta and the other platforms are pushing that manosphere stuff. Because maybe young guys are searching for it, or maybe they just know it's topic trending. So I don't know, man. It's hard to know what the reasoning is behind it, but whatever, you know, it's just one of those things.
What are we going to do without men?
I don't know, man. I mean, they're making movies about it now, right? You told me to watch a movie that Olivia Wilde directed or produced.
I think she wrote and directed.
Did she write it? Because
Yeah.
when I looked at the screenplay credits, it didn't have her name on there. But I could be wrong. If you IMDb that, who wrote the screenplay? 2022, Don't Worry Darling. It's got Harry Styles in it.
She didn't.
Big Harry Styles. She didn't write it, but she directed it. And it's pretty much a narrative on Jordan Peterson. He's been asked about it. Very interesting movie. I'm a little late to the party.
I mean, she's mentioned that he, inspired some of it, but I wouldn't say it's like heavy hand. Like, if you didn't know that, you would not make that association. I don't know.
Some of the lines in there are lines out of speeches and videos that he's given.
Yeah.
Do you think that when she said that, hey, Jordan Peterson inspired this movie, she had that Chicago song in the background? You're the meaning in my life. You're the inspiration. You bring meaning to my life. Are we going to get a copyright infringement?
Yeah, it's too good.
Bro, I blow Peter Cetera out the motherfucking water.
The only Chicago song I know is the 24 to 9 to 5 or something.
Yeah,
You know
that's
that?
a good one.
Because for some reason, growing up in Texas or wherever, you play that in jazz band every year when you're a kid.
Did you, I saw the other day that you like Deftones, which is cool. Makes me feel you're even cooler in my eyes because of that. Did you like Steely Dan growing up? Do you like Steely Dan?
Steely Dan's sick.
Yeah, I love Steely Dan, man. Every Steely Dan song just has
Such
this
ahead
vibe.
of their time.
Oh,
like
no doubt about it.
Amazing.
You like that you like Deftones though, they were popular when I was in high school, and you know their song, right? Nice Shot.
Yep.
Do you know the story behind that song?
Not really.
This is another one that we'll probably have to do a little dealing and searching online for a video of. But the song that the Deftones put out, "Hey Man, Nice Shot," is based on a politician who kills himself during a press conference, like live on video, pulls out a revolver and meets his maker, executes himself. It's crazy. There is a YouTube of it. I don't know if it is got a sensitive content label on it or not, but this story is nuts. And we were talking about it before we kicked this off. The politician's name should be on there.
Dwyer. Bud Dwyer in 1987, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
So search Bud Dwyer press conference.
Okay, let me
Can
get it
you
off screen. Hold on.
If you're a rock star and you're writing a song, right? Eddie Vedder did this with Jeremy. Jeremy is loosely based on a school shooting here in Richardson, Texas. Or you're Deftones and you write, "Hey Man, Nice Shot." Jeremy might be Eddie Vedder's, Pearl Jam's most widely recognized song. Pearl Jam's one of my favorites, so if that's true, they have some way better songs. But then this Bud Dwyer situation that the Deftones wrote about, I mean, I don't think a lot of people understand what the song is about, but it's crazy, man. He gets up, he's given a press conference, and he produces a sidearm and executes himself while being filmed.
This picture is amazing. Oh my God.
It's insanity. It's insane.
But that reminds me, there's one song that was written, I think, after an early school shooting. Is that what you're talking about? It's not Pearl Jam though. It's this band that got super big internationally. Now, I'm gonna figure it out, but super controversial.
I don't know.
Hold on, let me figure this out.
I didn't know there was another one about a school shooting, but I know Jeremy spoke in class today. That's about a school shooting here in Richardson, Texas, and I knew that before I even moved to Texas from Washington. So it's just a little morbid. Songs you didn't realize were based on true stories. We'll add that to the Curious Jess podcast segments. It's crazy, but it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
Another documentary I watched over the weekend. Usually watch documentaries if I can't sleep because they don't get my adrenaline up. There's no gunfire. It's just information. It's about Leonard Cohen, who's a legend, and it's about him writing the song Hallelujah and the story behind how Jeff Buckley's version came out. Jeff Buckley died tragically swimming in the Mississippi River after a concert. Young guy, crazy voice, never wanted to be a rock star. His dad was a rock star. He kind of got discovered, and he sang this version of Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen. No one even knew Leonard Cohen really wrote the song because the album that Hallelujah was on was not greenlit in the U.S. The Columbia Records executive heard the album and said, I don't like it. And it was only released overseas, mainly in the U.K. And so if you have heard Hallelujah, you've probably heard the popular version, which Jeff Buckley made popular. One of my favorite folk singers of all time, Brandi Carlile, does a cover of that. She's amazing, from Seattle, just amazing. And her version it'll just rip you. It'll rip you if you listen to it with an open heart, open mind. Brandi Carlile, BrandiCarlile, from the Northwest as well. She's got a great little band. I've seen her live numerous times.
I just recently got into, or like discovered Jeff Buckley, and oh my gosh.
Bro, unbelievable. It's crazy though. So Cohen wrote, he says, 180 verses for that song. 180 separate verses. He wrote the song. It took him 15 years to write the song. And the first ideation of it, and I believe the one that's on the album that wouldn't get greenlit in the U.S., is really got a lot of scriptural basis to it. And then he changed that and started singing it live in concert. Dylan picked it up. Dylan started singing it. Dylan made it popular. But a lot of people think Jeff Buckley wrote that song. And it was the great Leonard Cohen, who, when asked if he wanted to change his name, because he's a Jewish man, and a lot of times they got segregated against, didn't get given the best opportunities. If he wanted to change his name, he said, yes, I thought about it, and I want to change my name to September. That's what he told the interviewer. And the interviewer kind of looks at him and she says, as your first September, what do you mean? And she's trying to ask him, and he said he wanted to change his name to September Cohen. So Leonard is a major countercultural guy. He's a very unusual guy. He's an acquired taste musically, but my God, his lyrics are next level. And that song is one of my favorite. I think it's one of the most moving songs that exists. Hallelujah is an unbelievable song.
Shrek, man.
They brought that up in this documentary. They went through it. The gal who scored Shrek, who put together the soundtracks, talking about it. And
that lady, whoever that was, one of the most influential people of our generation.
So in the Shrek soundtrack, we get Leonard Cohen, Hallelujah, and we get Fastball, Hey Now You're an All-Star, right?
Smash Mouth.
Smash Mouth, my bad. I couldn't keep my bands with lead singers who have bleached, spiked hair.
That whole era of Shrek rock, you know.
Frosted tips.
Shrek rock.
Earrings and maybe a knuckle tattoo, and you are, it's that's next level. That's the costume of the 90s Shrek rock band. Yeah, amazing. That's an amazing documentary. It's called Hallelujah, the Leonard Cohen story. It really tells the entire story of his career, how he was discovered, how he made it, but it tells it while interweaving the story of this amazing song Hallelujah in with it, which a lot of people, when they hear that song, think it's like a praise and worship song, but it's a multifaceted song, that's for sure. That is for sure. I bet if you looked on TikTok,
when I say
what
at covers for Hallelujah, you would probably be able to pull up like 10,000 people doing a Hallelujah cover too. What's this gal talking about?
Okay, I know the ethics of this aren't great, but I did just see Smash Mouth perform live at a local beer and wine festival. When I say this is the most chaotic show I've ever seen in my entire life, I have no words.
At no point was the sound balanced. Unintelligible speech.
Sounds like a bad review.
You missed it. Hold on. Watch this.
What are they doing?
No
Just
music, but yeah,
failing
no, he
terribly?
super drunk, issues, but he pulled the Sieg Heil like multiple times and went off on MAGA stuff. And
did the Sieg Heil? Did he get canceled for that?
I mean, this video he canceled. He
canceled
yeah,
himself.
It's not.
Here's an idea. I have an idea. When you want to get lit, you should just do that in your hotel room. I'm sick. I mean, now you could just say I got monkeypox or whatever, and you're good. But don't put anything on social media. Don't go on Twitter, and most especially don't go on a stage. I don't know. That's just if I was going to be a career guru for entertainers, I would just let them know. I think that's pretty groundbreaking info. If you're compromised with chemicals, don't put yourself in the position to be recorded. Does it ever seem like anyone was lit and made a good decision that helped further their career on social media or live?
I mean, you're telling musicians not to
not to
not
to chemically enhance their performance. I mean, one of my favorite singers, I've already talked about him once today, Eddie Vedder. Every time he plays, he's got a couple of big green bottles up on stage and he's drinking something out of them. And what I've always heard is that every other one has wine in it and every other one has water in it.
It's all just straight Monster. You said it's green?
Well, they're green, but you know how wine bottles are dark green, so that keeps the sunlight from spoiling
absinthe.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's I feel like that's a tough one.
Have you had absinthe?
Yeah, I've had that, back in college and when I've been in Europe.
I feel like there's this...
E2, have you?
Yeah. I mean, it seems like a really normal thing, but when I was, before I even drank and I was getting into reading about substances and
doing research,
plant medicine, doing research, the lore behind absinthe is so cool, and the artistic history and how
Hemingway,
makes people
right?
trip and stuff.
Yeah.
Hemingway, yeah. But it's definitely not what you get now. I mean,
yeah, if you wanted to get pure, real, genuine, good absinthe, it is the same color as road legal diesel fuel. It's that green Diet Mountain Dew color.
That's awesome.
What
absinthe with Diet Mountain Dew?
Ooh. Yeah, would that have a little bit of a different effect than Diet Mountain Dew and vodka or Everclear?
Yeah, I feel like that's like a speedball type deal.
Does absinthe give you a psychedelic type reaction?
So the reports and the writings and musings on absinthe do say something like that, like it's dissociative or different from just alcohol. But there was a chemical in it, I forget what it's called, that would cause that. That's definitely not in it anymore.
What, they took it out, or it's just not bioavailable anymore? Or the powers that be on the executive committee of getfuckedup.com said, don't put this in absinthe anymore?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, Tujone. So there's a chemical found in wormwood. It's wormwood. So wormwood already makes you dissociate and whatever, and that's known to be a convulsant at high doses. So that's, it says this is the most widely held misconception about absinthe, that it's hallucinogenic. Nothing will make you hallucinate, but that chemical does.
Weird.
It's kind of like the mushroom I was telling you about, the fly agaric.
Yeah, that sounds pretty interesting. I think that because I'm observing dry January, and I'm going to just keep that rolling. It is weird how many people are doing that, right? Dry January, Sohill. But you said you're feeling better by doing just dry during the weeks, right?
It's awesome. I really like this whole, what's the word for it? Soft sobriety wave.
Sure.
You know?
Or conscious sobriety, I think is what a lot of people call it. You, of all of the cumulative effects that not drinking during the week can have, would you say that your sleep has benefited the most, or what? You're just energy?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's probably related to definitely sleep, because I have this app, right, that tracks your sleep, and your snoring, and I would snore so much if I drank before, and my snoring's at 0 when I'm sober.
That's amazing.
Which is wild. So
that
results in me waking up feeling way better.
It's got to be because of the sedative effect of alcohol on your soft palate, right?
Yeah.
Your soft palate's a muscle. So what are you tracking through? Is that tracking through your Apple Watch?
Sleep cycle is just through my phone. So I put my phone next to my head when I'm sleeping.
Interesting.
And it's pretty accurate from what I can tell.
Keeps track of you,
It tracks
your
your
heart
deep
rate?
sleep. No, not your heart rate. I don't have anything on me, but it tracks your deep sleep rhythms and your light sleep and your snoring. And
So you're getting way more REM now than you were. And REM is when your body releases its own human growth hormone, which helps you to regenerate.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm going to come back and talk about a little bit more biohacking in a second. I got to take this call with an insurance adjuster. I'll be right back.
All right.
It's Jess. Yeah, how are you?
So we got some dead air. Check on the comments. Y'all can watch this kinetic sand behind me for a second. Okay, I want to address this hate comment I got. Let me pull it up on TikTok. Keep those hate comments coming. So, someone said this is literally what he was going with until you interrupted him. and still made plenty of money, so he wasn't canceled. That made even more fervent supporters.
It did. Same with Jordan Peterson, though.
Yeah.
Tate was canceled, deplatformed, demonetized, all of that. Obviously, I think he created escape velocity for himself.
So my
he was
whole
able to
point,
drive those,
Joel, like you said, he
Curious
still had
eyes
his
to
own platform. He was still allowed to, was that he's not deplatformed, canceled. We see this with Louis C.K. is trending again. All these people who are canceled are not canceled, y'all. That was my point. I was addressing some haters on your TikTok.
Yeah, I mean, canceled off of main social platforms. You know? So if what you have to say is good enough, controversial enough, interesting enough, you should be able to jump that to your own platform. I think you bringing up Louis C.K. is very interesting. He's doing Madison Square Garden shows again. He's putting his content up only on his website now. He's doing great. Like in terms of a comeback.
After literally doing sexual crimes. So don't tell me, you know.
Yeah.
People can't that these allegations are ruining men's lives. It's
I don't know. I think that when people get deplatformed off of all the easy places where everyone already is, I think that certainly makes them sad, but I don't think my position has changed one time, has it? So it doesn't matter right or left or center, nowhere. If you don't like it and one of these big platforms says no one gets to watch you anymore and you weren't that interesting, then be more interesting or go get a job at Home Depot, man. Like if you're in the content creation business and you're going to cry if you get shadow banned or whatever, be more interesting. Have more interesting things to say and people will come find what you have to say, right?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, but the whole conversation about deplatforming because you think someone's dangerous or whatever, it does work in pushing people to their own platform or to smaller areas where that influence is.
I'll be totally
called.
honest with you, dude. I had no idea who Andrew Tate was until Patrick Bet David started bringing him up all over the place on his stuff. And I like Patrick because he's a very good interviewer. I listen to a lot of his podcasts because he lets the other person talk and they have a discussion a lot like Rogan. He's not going into it with this predisposed list of questions. He has had very controversial people on. His Tate podcast was 4 hours or something. I didn't even know who Andrew Tate was, man. And I mean, I go on social media really to look at how our stuff is doing, hoping that maybe someone has reached out for a little construction assistance or business. And I do a lot of, I keep up with my rugby on there and look for rugby highlights, animal shit, and then biohacking, nutrition, fitness. That's what I use social media for. I myself don't go on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and go to the Discover page and look for someone who's going to give me advice about like how to live life and talk to girls. But that's obviously a big thing, but I didn't even know who Tate was. So then when the powers that be say you now don't get to be on all these mainstream, I think it just makes them even more interesting to people who are like, well, what the fuck? I mean, and then they go seek them out. Don't you think? I mean, and I think sometimes that's their goal, to get talked about.
Yeah.
You know, Jerry Jones, all publicity is good publicity. Doesn't matter if it's good or bad. I mean, look at what that's done for him and the Cowboys. I mean, they have had crazy, scandalous shit happen in the last 2 years. The Dallas Cowboys have. Jerry was accused of having a child with a woman and not paying that woman child support forever. That just went away. Rich Dalrymple, who forever and ever has been like the PR head director over at the Dallas Cowboys. It was proven that Rich Dalrymple set up hidden cameras in the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders' locker rooms, and that he was spying on the cheerleaders while changing. And it was like a 2-day dude, look it up. It's fucking nuts. It was a 2-day story in Dallas. It's crazy. I mean, the Cowboys seem like they are bulletproof. They don't win, but they're so big. And I guess it's that over there, they don't deny anything. They're just like, ooh, cameras, let's talk. Maybe we can sell somebody a tour of the Star in Frisco and a 2-night stay at this horrible hotel that they have where they've got a neighborhood services down in the lobby bar that isn't anything like any good neighborhood services you've ever been to. I don't know. But the Rich Dalrymple story got almost no press. It got talked about.
Hear about that. That's crazy. They just paid $2.4 million to settle it. That's wild.
That's insane. And where's that on Sports Center? Why isn't anybody talking about that anywhere? You know, it's just crazy. The double standard is insane. I don't even understand. Like, I don't know. Rich Dalrymple was literally like Jerry's right-hand man. If you wanted to talk to Jerry or Steven or Charlotte, or you wanted to talk to Jerry's wife about the art out there at that stadium, or you wanted to talk to one of the coaches or a player, you had to go through Rich. Rich has been a staple of the Cowboys organization.
What was his role?
Since I moved here, PR director, main
wow.
PR director.
And he's the one setting the cameras up?
He's spying on the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, bro.
What?
He's got a hidden camera in there. He's doing like peep show shit. Like, what in the actual fuck are we doing around here? And where's the outrage?
We all know the justice system is two-tiered and, it works differently for wealthy people compared to normal people. But also the public outrage and, need for rehabilitation. If some random, YouTuber has accusations or does something wrong, they have no opportunity for rehabilitation. They're gone. They're they're canceled, and they can come back. I mean, but someone with this kind of clout, they're chilling.
It's insanity. To me, it's insane. I don't even understand it. But the double standard when it comes to entertainers, athletes, if it fucks with the entertainment side of our life, which a lot of us use for escape, like I'm just going to turn the football game on and Monday morning's going to suck because I hate my job, but at least I got some playoffs to watch. If it fucks with that, a lot of people don't like it. That pisses them off. I don't know. It's a weird deal. I wanted to talk a little bit too, just solving one work problem. Money never sleeps, Sohill.
You gotta go get it.
I've had this issue. And if you'll go to the Tank Sinatra Instagram page while I bring this up, I've had this issue since 2016, beginning of 2017. I spent some good time down in the hill country doing a construction job, and little did I know that the mountain cedar down there was as bad as it is. You went to UT. Did you have any problems with that? Yeah.
I have the worst allergies, dude.
So what ended up happening, I didn't even realize this was happening to me. And I have had bad seasonal allergies since I moved to Texas. It's one thing that was really hard. I moved to Texas. It was hotter than blazes. No rain for 100 straight days some summers. And the allergies in the late spring, I was hating life until I discovered local honey, honey pellets, honey spray, and Flonase. Without Flonase, I would be absolutely fucked. So if you go to that Afrin, that one right there. If you don't know who Tank Sinatra is, he's awesome. He's a meme god. He's also got Tank's Good News on Instagram.
I can't even believe it's legal and they sell it over the counter. I am addicted to Afrin. I have been congested for a year. Nobody should be using Afrin, period, hands down. There's a chemical in it, oxymestolazolazine, that binds itself to the receptors in your nose and inflames the nasal lining. Even when you're not congested from having a cold, your nose is literally swollen shut and you can't breathe without the Afrin. The ENT that I went to goes, I can't even believe it's legal and they sell it over the counter. I am addicted to Afrin.
So that's crazy. So I have the same problem. I've had the same problem. I solved it once and then I had to go back to the dark side. I saw that yesterday. This was in my truck. Afrin No Drip. I have these everywhere. In my bathroom, on my nightstand, in my office, in my kitchen, in my truck, in my backpack, in my go bag, in my survival satchel. I have one of these everywhere because literally when your nose starts to close up, the sinus headache and the overall feeling of just inescapable claustrophobia is like nothing I can even explain.
Yeah, the anxiety that comes with it too,
it's
right?
It's horrible. So you've probably done this, had a few too many beers, right? You're snoring, so your mouth's open. You wake up, right, and your mouth's real dry. Or that'll wake you up, or you get a sore throat from that. Have you ever had that?
Not
too bad?
Probably not too bad.
Well,
I drink so much water, dude. It's a problem. On that note, you hold it down. I'll be right back.
The problem in this Afrin, and the way it's been explained to me, and then I'll explain how I was able to get through it, and then what I'm going to do here, and I'll report back to you guys about how I'm going to solve this for myself long-term and forever. This chemical that's in this, and it's just a 0.05% active ingredient, but it's in Afrin, it's in some of the Vicks, it's in Sinex, it's in your private label. So depending on where you shop, Safeway, Minyard, Tom Thumb, Kroger, Piggly Wiggly, they might have like a private label in their health and wellness or in the pharmacy section. You have to look to see if there's the active ingredient, and he kind of butchered the name, and I'm going to do that as well. Oxymetazoline hydrochloride, 0.05%. That is the active ingredient. So what it does, you are completely congested from seasonal allergies, or maybe you just have a cold. You cannot breathe through your nose. You know how much that sucks. You can still breathe through your mouth, but then everything just starts to close up. You might get a bad sinus headache because your ears, nose, and throat are all connected. He mentioned going to talk to an ENT. That's an ear, nose, throat doctor. An ear, nose, throat doctor is going to help you with anything from hearing problems to sinus issues. They are going to help you with if you have tonsil problems. A lot of people are commented on this reel he put up and said they went to their ENT, and that ENT told them to have their tonsils removed, and then another thing called the adenoids, I believe. I'm probably butchering that. I'm not an anatomy expert, nor am I a medical doctor. But what I do know is this is a major problem for me. I've broken my nose numerous times playing the great sport of rugby and fighting and doing other stuff that dumb dudes do. But then I also have bad allergies. I started to... after I spent that time down in the hill country working on that project, at night, me and my crew, we would make a campfire with firewood, which was mountain cedar. So I had no idea. You breathe smoke, that's not great for your sinuses either, but it was like that mountain cedar. That just set everything off. So since early 2017, so that's 6 years now, I've been battling this on and off. Getting off of this is not as easy as you might think. My sleep is very important to me, and if I can in a day limit my intake or use of the nasal spray to no times throughout the day, I will take what amounts to like a save shot at night so I can breathe through my nose with my mouth closed at night only. But often that's not even enough. I use Flonase to kick back the allergies, but once this is in your system, what happens is the chemical reaction that you have is it activates adrenaline in your bloodstream, and that adrenaline shrinks back those vessels in your nasal cavity, in your sinuses, which then allows you to breathe freely and fast. Like if you're stuffed up and congested and you use Afrin or any of these with this active ingredient, oxymetazoline hydrochloride, and they're all
at
at
steroid?
0.05. So steroids are what will help you overcome this, or can. You can get an oral steroid that will help. I don't know if oxymetazoline...
Because I've known about this Afrin thing since I was a kid. There were talks about... like,
it's illegal.
Yeah.
In European countries, you cannot buy this oxymetazoline. Yeah. You can't get this in anything.
But it's not in Flonase, right? Sorry, I was
It is not in Flonase. No, Flonase is just an allergy remedy. Flonase has been a life changer for me, but so has the local bee honey and the bee pellets. They're amazing. Put that in your coffee or your nootropic in the morning. Kind of helps your body get used to that pollen. But I still have this issue. So the way I solved it last time, I got a nose sprayer. I diluted the chemical down. So every time it got to halfway, I would add with a needle and a syringe, I would add distilled water to the mix. And so by the end, I was really only using distilled. So you're just weaning yourself off of it over time. But you do have to take a calculated approach, because if I can't just stop, or I won't be able to sleep for nights on end. And the sinus headache is just next level. So I've noticed that. The other thing that I don't think enough people realize is how important it is to change out your air conditioning filters in your HVAC in your house. everything you're breathing from that processed air, it's running through, if you sleep at night, it's running only through your nose. If you'll notice too, a lot of people complain about nighttime allergies. So as they start to get relaxed and get ready for bed, they start getting stuffed up. And knowing what I know now about how this product in Afrin pumps up your adrenaline, I think that makes sense, right? Throughout the day, you got the bullets flying, you got kids, work, employees, whatever, customers, traffic, you're going to the gym, you're doing all this. Your body is on, you're in fight or flight, staying alive, getting all these tasks done throughout the day. You get home, you eat your dinner, you take your shower, you start to relax. Maybe you're going to watch some Judge Judy or whatever to wind down. And that relaxation equals the absence of adrenaline. And I think that's why people feel like at night they start to feel more congested, because their body's been running on low-level adrenaline all day. I don't know. That's just a theory of mine. Being congested at night is the worst. It's terrible. It's been a problem for me. I'm going to work on solving this. The other thing that I've been working on, especially since it's been so cold lately, is what I just call freeze sleeping. So what I do is I take a air mattress into my garage, and I open my garage door about 3 feet, and I just sleep on the floor on my air mattress, let that garage get down to about 30 degrees, whatever the exterior temperature is. I'm trying to get it as cold in there as possible. I was doing this in my backyard, but my neighbor has a 2-story house like right next door, and it's just weird to look out your window or have your kids look out your window and your neighbor, full-grown guy with a head of gray hairs, just asleep in his yard. I thought that maybe that would be a cause for some concern, so I've started to do it in my garage. Here's what I've learned. I feel like I get longer, more restorative sleep in that super cold air than I get in processed air at all, or even in like air-conditioned air. Now, I can't sleep if it is warmer than about 68 degrees, so obviously this wouldn't work in the summer. Staying warm, you're like 30 degrees, that's cold. Yeah, you see your breath. I grew up doing that though, hunting, hiking, fishing, survival hikes, Boy Scouts, all of that. If you're too cold, wear a hoodie, put a hat on, get in a good sleeping bag, and you'll be toasty warm, but what you're breathing is that cold outdoor air. I've noticed a big change. Like my energy is up. I think I'm sleeping longer for longer sustained patterns. There's a time where I was waking up like every 90 minutes. I've done sleep studies. I'm trying to get that figured out as well. But yeah, that's been an interesting journey for me. I always like to come on here and talk to you guys about little biohacking, health, wellness, fitness stuff. And that's been an interesting one that I've been working on lately.
Have you hit the salt room recently?
Yeah, I hit the salt room yesterday. Again, I've been going 2-3 times a week, somewhere in there. I'm going to start narrowing that down to 1 or 2 times a week.
How's it going?
It's a weird experience. You know, I feel like I feel better, but I don't feel so much better that I feel like I can tell that it's having that experience. So I feel like it's probably more of a placebo effect than anything. I mean, you're in this room, you're in a recliner, the lights are dim, it's 68 degrees. They're playing like Journey meditation, like 480 megahertz music. You just relax for 40 minutes and breathe salt. I try not to open my mouth at all, so I'm breathing it all through. So I'm just taking that all through my sinuses. I feel like it's helping. I don't know if I'm necessarily like a dyed-in-the-wool ambassador of it, because I don't feel like I've noticed like huge changes, but they do say that it takes a long time to notice a benefit.
They do.
Yeah, kind of like your counselor. You go talk to a counselor and they want to see you twice a week for the next 10 years. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'll re-up. I probably will, because it's an interesting experience and I really like trying these new natural things to try to see if I can get a little bit of an edge, optimize and enhance my health and wellness, but it's an interesting deal. The other thing that I did is a food sensitivity test with a JESS MARSHALL podcast, JMP guest Blake York. He's got a practice down in Deep Ellum. Awesome little office. They can do body density scans. He's got all kinds of cool stuff. He's got a crypto chamber down there. He's getting a hyperbaric. He can help you out.
Crypto chamber?
Sorry, cryo. Yeah. You can pay for it all with crypto. Actually, I don't know if he would take crypto or not. A cryo chamber. Yeah. Get real cold, and somehow that's supposed to help.
What about sensory deprivation tank?
He does not have one of those, but I've heard those are cool. And have you heard of those salt floats?
Yeah.
I've heard those are cool too. My brother did that out in South Lake. I think I'm going to give that a shot just to see what it's like. I don't know.
I mean, the sensory deprivation is also where you're like neutral density floating, right?
Yeah, I think there's some. I think you can like stand in a tank, or you can lay in like these tubs where you're not going to drown. But then what?
Yeah, they like they put enough salt in there, or
so you float,
whatever, to where you're like weightless.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I don't know what like
that would scare the crap out of me.
Why?
Like the just total sensory deprivation, no senses. You don't think that's scary?
I think it sounds unusual for sure.
Especially the idea of going somewhere someone else is in control is vulnerability.
I don't like that at all. That's like getting an MRI.
Yeah.
Have you ever gotten an MRI?
Oh, yes.
Dude, bro, can't do it. First time I got an MRI, right after I destroyed my shoulder, and I was so claustrophobic, I got not the handle of Jameson, but the size one smaller, and I just sculled the whole thing in my truck. Dang. Walked in, and pretty much just passed out. It was going to be like a 40-minute MRI, and you're literally in a trash can. That's what you feel like. And if you're big at all, I mean, Sohail, you're bigger than me, but we both have broad shoulders. It's touching, and it's like touching your face. You're in this
Yeah, mine wasn't like that. I mean, mine was pretty open. It was like a donut kind of deal that you stick your body into, and then I kind of liked it. They put on they asked what Pandora station I wanted, and I said put some Dream Pop on, and
was
my
your
favorite
whole body
band
in
was
the thing?
first.
In like the tunnel? Or
yeah,
was
it was.
You liked it?
And it was so loud.
You
and
liked that, but you don't think you would like the sensory deprivation to salt.
Let me see if
stuff?
I can find a picture of what I did.
Because
what you're
now-
describing sounds like the old school, like super claustrophobic one.
Well, yeah. I mean, now they have open MRI, so you don't even have to be. You don't even have to address the. You don't have to address the claustrophobia because somehow it's imaging you without being in that like long tube.
You could have got some benzos.
I know I wasn't as advanced. I hadn't done the drug research that you're so fond of doing by then. So I was just sort of.
So yeah, it was something like this. This thing.
Interesting. Yeah.
So, but it's super loud. But I liked it. I wanted to sample the sounds and make music out of it.
Yeah, I bet because it's magnetic,
and
right?
it's such an absurd experience because they try to make you comfortable with the music. It's the worst headphones I've ever used. The music is so soft, and then there's that industrial machine noise in the back. So I'm listening to this ethereal dream pop music with it's my favorite type of ADHD stimulation.
And it sounds like you're in a submarine or something, like going through a nuclear attack. What's MRI stand for? Magnetic
resonance imaging.
Oh man, rolled right off your tongue there. I think that's what you should do as your next career, man. Get into medical sales.
No.
Hey, what's going on? So can I talk to the doctor? Well, he's with a patient right now.
I'll just leave this basket of muffins and pens for you.
As well as several samples of this new antipsychotic medication that I'm representing. You need to get all of your clients on it right now. I don't know, man. Don't get me started on the pharmaceutical companies, or we might never get out here at that rate.
Yeah.
It's a weird deal.
There's something I want to talk about. We talked last week about TikTok bans, and we talked with shoot, what was our guest's name? Sarah.
Yeah, Sarah Lamb.
About some Hawley bill that he was proposing, but he got another one coming up about banning TikTok. And the TikTok CEO is going to testify before the House Energy and Commerce Committee on March 23rd.
Yeah, Marco Rubio's involved with that too. I don't know if he co-wrote it or if he's just on the thing. So we talked about that TikTok stuff, right? Last week for a second.
We did, but this is
just that
some breaking news that he's going to.
Yeah, that big tech can't get TikTok out of here fast enough, and they can't do it through competitive measures. So now they're going to get the government involved, and they're going to make it all, China is bad and TikTok will be the demise of our culture. And that's what they're going to try to do.
It's so funny. It's based on, privacy and data security, concerns. It's like, are you kidding me? Like,
the hypocrisy is palpable.
Really think?
Well, it's insane, right? It's this how dumb do you think we are argument that I think, it seems like we ask that question weekly. But they can't win just through, regular, everyday, commonplace, run-of-the-mill capitalist competition. So now they got to get their friends high up on the governmental food chain to put the kibosh on this. Is this really going to happen? We think that they're going to get TikTok banned in the United States of America. That seems far-fetched. I know Adam Curry, who was on the Joe Rogan Experience last week, he strongly believes this will happen. I don't know, man. It's a weird deal. You know what it reminds me of? I know you probably don't keep up with golf much. I don't either. I don't like to watch it, play it, hang out with those that play it, any of that, but I think it's interesting. Have you heard of the Live Tour, which was started with Saudi money? No. And they've got Dustin Johnson, Phil Mickelson, probably the two biggest golfers, who they paid them each like $150 million base to leave the PGA and jump over to Live and play golf. And everybody, the Saudis this, the Saudis that. It's just these rich old white men who don't like that. In the PGA, if you're part of the Professional Golf Association, you're a pro golfer and you hit an awesome putt and you want to take that video and make a reel out of it and put it on your social, the PGA makes you, first of all, get their permission and then buy the footage from them. Do you understand? If Zion Williamson throws down a monster dunk or Luka hits a fadeaway to win the game and wants to put that all over his social, the NBA is like, yes, put it up. Let's go. How can we help? They'd probably make the reel for him. But because the PGA is so behind the times, all these dudes are just like, there has to be a better way. And in march the Saudis with all that money going, we're willing to pay for it to try. The Saudis are also making an offer on the World Wrestling Entertainment Group. And a bunch of those wrestlers are saying we're not going to wrestle if we're owned by the Saudis. So I don't know what's going to happen there.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
wow.
It is. Especially because way back in the day, remember the Iron Sheik? Does that?
Yes.
Yeah, you at least remember that, right? And it was good versus evil, and the USA versus the,
Also, just crazy propaganda, like
so blatantly over the top, stereotypical as well. Which I understand. It's kind of like a Saturday Night Live skit, but with a lot of steroids. But it's just like, wow. Could they do that these days? I don't know I don't know, man. I haven't turned wrestling on.
Oh yeah, they can do it for we
parody?
still don't like the Arabs, dude.
Yeah, we're still putting that on Jack Ryan shows on Prime and stuff.
So all the shows, everything. When it comes to stereotypical portrayals of
we got
the Middle East, we got that covered.
We got Middle East, so it's okay to not like the Middle East. It's for sure okay, especially now, to not like Russia, and then it's okay to not like the Venezuelans. And then you can loop in any of the drug cartel-y stuff down there and kind of mash it all together into like this casserole of hatred that's like, okay.
Just
we can make them the bad guys. It's cool.
There may be one thing in common, all of those things you just named. So maybe we had a little hand in
just a little one. Just a little one in all the affairs on the planet. We have more than just a little hand in them, folks.
So great.
Yeah, whether it's boosting the military-industrial industry, the complex, by sending billions to Ukraine, I don't know. Changing course from the commander-in-chief saying we're not going to get involved to like 3 months later saying we're full-on getting involved. I don't know, man.
Given the Taliban weapons, performing a coup in any Latin American country that threatens our hegemony, and then seeing the results, starting a war on drugs, maybe that causes cartels to be powerful, and then we can go around and say, look at these bad people.
Yeah. It's all their fault, Sohail.
It's true.
They don't they.
They're inherently different than us, right? People from other backgrounds and other skin colors are inherently different.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, they're worse, right? If they're not American.
Yep.
Isn't that what we're led to believe? Just worse. Not people, not born into a terrible situation. Like when they were an embryo or whatever, and they were growing in their mother's womb, or their mother or their father who identifies as their mother or whatever, they were in there making a decision like, I refuse to be born on American soil. Yep. Over my dead body will I be not born here in a Somalian desert. God damn it. And they made that conscious decision, and from that decision flowed everything. No. That's why people in America who bitch and complain are hilarious, because or else you just know that where you are right now, somebody else has a shinier yellow Lambo than you have, and somehow that's I don't know, man. It's a weird deal.
Yep.
It is what it is. Have we come to the end? Can we think of anything else pressing?
Yeah, I mean, we could always keep going. I think this is a good stopping point.
I think so too. Who are we picking for the Super Bowl? I think Philly takes it. I think that would be funny. I'm sorry, Cowboys fans.
And for the safety of the community, I think up there, Philly should take it.
Yeah, I don't know. Everybody in Kansas City, Missouri is so nice. Philly is just a different city. It just is. I just feel like let's give him this one. I am happy for Jalen Hurts. You want to talk about a dude who he had to transfer from Alabama to Oklahoma to play his last year. Everybody's been saying he's no good, he's not this, he's not that. He's probably either going to win the Super Bowl, or if he doesn't, they'll come close. He's going to get a new $40 million a year contract. That's awesome. One last thing I wanted to talk about. The underdog story, whether it's in a movie or on a field of play or in business, whatever, the underdog story, always something I've gravitated toward, but something that I've noticed. If you're an underdog, you better as hell concentrate on the daily, on making sure that you are ready for the opportunity that presents itself. If you are not the favorite, if you are waiting for your opportunity, you can't sleep on that opportunity, because the second you turn a blind eye, the second you miss your alarm, the second you are late to a meeting, the second you don't answer your phone or your text or your email, that opportunity that the universe was waiting to test you with, it's going to dissipate. So if you're an underdog, if you're trying to bootstrap, if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to get somewhere in your life that you've never been, if you are working on your mindset, your body, your spirit, if you're working on your performance, your skills, your habits, if you're building out your abilities, make sure you stay dialed in, even though it's tough. It's just like a second string quarterback. You have to practice every day like you're the starter. You have to watch film every day like you're the starter. Work out like you're the starter. Sleep, eat like you're the starter. You might never get to start until the second half of the Super Bowl. That might be your opportunity. And if halfway through the season you're like, meh, I'm just going to do Peloton workouts, probably not going to do squats for the rest of the year. Man, I'm not going to watch film. I don't know. Whatever. Never going to get my opportunity. When that opportunity presents itself, you're going to fall right on your face and knock your own teeth out. So if you take anything from today, and I have been an underdog my whole life, use that as your battle cry. Every day you get up, I am ready. I am built ready. I am absolutely dialed in. And the second that door cracks, man, smash through that motherfucker with purpose. Grab that opportunity by the scruff of the neck and drag it out into very deep water. Make the most of your opportunities this week. Thank you for joining me on the Jess Marshall solo podcast, Curious Jess. We'll see y'all next time. What's up? Thanks for checking out my videos here on the Jess Marshall YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe for sure. Hit that bell. Press that button to watch the next video. If you got a question you have about any of the topics I bring up in the videos, drop a question below, and we'll be sure to get an answer back to you ASAP. See you on the next one.